three of us, two guys and myself, were working on a side project as we worked for People Admin. And we built a Twitter curation tool called Tweet River. Yeah. And this is very early into social media being around. And we had actually seen Zappos at the time, had a list of tweets on the Zappos website. This is pre-Amazon buying Zappos. Okay. And it was basically Zappos employees, what they were tweeting. We thought, man, there's a product idea. Like, let's give a business the ability to say, I want to like aggregate or curate this set of users or tweets or hashtags and embed them in a website. Yeah. And so we set about building this little tool. Again, total side project. We actually didn't really have commercial intentions. It's just like, this is a cool problem. Let's go solve this. Right. And so we did. And we, had a few little companies using it, and somewhere it got like the attention of Twitter. And so one day we get a call from NBC, and they say, hey, we're building this like dual screen experience, and we would like to include tweets on Sunday Night Football. We have this like second screen experience for Sunday Night Football, and we want to include tweets about the game in this player we've built. Can your software do this? Yeah. And we said, we can do it. And there were some things we needed to do, but we, made it work. And anyway, they're like, well, how much would this cost? And, I forget the exact number, but like it was on order of like $2,000. Yeah. And they're like, okay, we'll take it. And at the time, a lot of people were like, as we're talking to people about what we built, they're like, nobody pays for social media. Yeah. Oh, that's totally free. Like there's no commerce in that. Like, and so these guys are going to pay us $2,000. This sounds fantastic. Yeah. And so, we're in that season, Sunday Night Football, made $2,000. Again, we still all have day jobs. This is just a little side thing. Yeah. Well, of course, Twitter finds out about it. They're pretty excited about it. And about 3 weeks later, we get a call from ABC. And they say, hey, we'd really like to embed tweets on abc.com for the Dancing with the Stars season. Can we, do you think this technology could like start to curate like people that are on Dancing with the Stars tweeting about like their experience? Can we stick these on the ABC homepage or subpage? And we're like, oh yeah, we can do it. They're like, great. How much does this cost? We're like, $5,000 or whatever it was, Yeah. They're like, no problem. And so, at this point, Twitter is like this is like fail whale days of Twitter, like early days where Twitter's crashing all the time. Okay. And so they're trying to push out into the mainstream. They're pretty excited too. Mm-hmm. And so all of a sudden it's like, they're starting to feed us media companies that are like, hey, we're interested, and we went on a really crazy ride. Yeah, it was for the 2008 election, I was in New York, sitting in the newsroom of the New York Times, installing our widget to curate tweets about the election as Obama's election night is happening. Nice. And I'm literally on the floor of the newsroom, and got there the day before, got it in. I'm sitting there. The two guys that I'm working with are back home, like trying to keep all the wheels running so that it doesn't fall over on the homepage of the New York Times. And so we did that, and shortly after that, we got asked to go to the Golden Globes. So the Golden Globes wanted to. They basically, so after somebody wins, they go into the back room and they like are in front of a press panel, and the press pepper them with, hey, how's it feel to win? Or what do you think about this? And so there's kind of this progression where they're on stage, they kind of work their way, or they'd work their way through this back room where they could do like individual press breakouts or something, and then they ended up in like a press briefing room where, there was a press pool that would interview them. And so the Hollywood Foreign Press, who puts on the Golden Globes, wanted to basically have the first press question that got asked to every winner be a curated question from Twitter. Yeah. So they can't, so they went to Twitter, and Twitter recommended us. And so, I put on a tux and, walked the red carpet. And
from side project to the red carpet.
It was still a side project. I took a day off work and went, to LA. Yeah. And
did you ever seeing or meeting any celebrities like that night?
I saw all kinds. Like this was when Glee was in its heyday. It won. Jack Nicklaus won something that year for something big. Like, and all these guys I'm 10 feet away
That's
from.
awesome.
And so the way it worked, and I say this because it was hilarious, because if they would have realized like the hamster wheels that were running in the background to like prop all this up.
Right.
But basically, you had like 7 minutes from when the person was on stage accepting their award, so they were going to get to the press pool. And so we're curating, trying to find the right tweet question in that 7 minutes, because the way it worked is they had rigged the press pool room, and the Hollywood Foreign Press reporter always got to ask the first question. And we were curating that question and turning and giving it to the reporter so that the reporter could ask whoever won. Well, the problem, social media today is not great.
Yeah.
Social media 10 years ago, it was not, it was rough.
Right.
And so there was a lot of noise.
You're talking about the content coming through, right?
A lot of noise coming through, ask Jack Nicholson something wildly inappropriate, And so we're like radically trying to curate out like, hey, let's find a good one. And at least half a dozen times, we'd get down to like 4, okay, these are the best 4 we have for this particular. And it doesn't matter if we have a good one, like we're trying to come up with a good one.
Right.
Because like no matter what, they're going to ask this reporter first. And her question's supposed to come from us. And like at least 6 times she goes, I'm not going to ask them that. And it's just like very like, proper.
So it's like
formal.
A stressful night for you guys.
Oh man,
you're not like enjoying it.
It was it was rough. But it got us noticed, and Twitter took notice and almost had an acquire hire of us. Like they were interested. They ended up. This became a company that a lot of people in Austin will know now. So Twitter sends us in to meet with MTV.
Okay.
And MTV had just done the VMAs and incorporated tweets in the stage of the VMA for the first, it was like the first big like media mashup with social media, and they had gotten a lot of praise for it. So they hook us up to go meet with MTV. And so I take a Friday off work, Thursday night fly to New York. But before I had met with some like advisors, I had met with my, like, what are we gonna charge them? Because now we think we got something. And we'd charged nothing for the last couple, and anyway, we'd gotten together, man, and so many advisors and VCs had said, hey, this is a product, it's not a company. Like there's not, and so I'm like, well, we're going to meet with the head of digital for MTV, Viacom. Let's go figure this out. And so we said, well, wildest dreams, what do we want out of this? We said, well, if there's a company here for a SaaS software at this level, we should be able to get $100,000 a year as a subscription. So anyway, have a great meeting with this guy, demo our product, 30 minutes into the meeting, he's like, how much is it going to cost us? And I said, $100,000 a year. He said, send me a contract, we'll get it done this week. And I immediately, knew it was way too cheap. And B, knew, okay, we got something. And anyway, so we ended up doing a deal with all of Viacom and their brands, and came back, used that as a catalyst to raise venture capital for that company. And that company was called Tweet River. It became a company called Mass Relevance. Which later merged with a company called Spreadfast. And that was kind of the end of my run there. I got pulled back into people admin because as I mentioned, we were in the middle of a rewrite, and it just wasn't a good time for me to leave and go run that. But my 2 business partners went with Mass Relevance, and a gentleman named Sam Decker, who's an amazing marketer and entrepreneur here in town. The 3 of them kind of took that genesis of Tweet River, and it turned into Mass Relevance, and those guys went out and crushed it and did all. That company went on and did media for the Olympics, for March Madness, for the Super Bowl, for all kinds of things that mashed up social media and mainstream media. Like it was really cool. So they killed it.